Hello there everybody, this is Alex from Hardcorian Guides bringing you my guide for Transformers Devastation on Prime difficulty, and we're doing the Bumblebee campaign, and today we're doing Chapter 1, which I think is just called Chapter 1. I kind of forget how the heck they name these things, honestly. Oops, apologies about that, I don't remember. I can check, but it's not like it really matters, right? I mean... Nah, who cares? Anyway, so, yeah, we're doing Chapter 1, and like I said, we're doing the Bumblebee side of things. And I am actually relatively happy to present this one. It's funny because those, a couple years ago when I actually was trying to do this originally, I ended up actually not completing it or just not even bothered trying with it. So, now, here I am doing it again, and I enjoyed the hell out of playing it. I beat this in a couple of days, and most of these videos, like just actual recording, were about like 20 to 30 minutes long. So I beat it relatively quickly, even with Bumblebee. I'm actually surprised to find that Bumblebee was actually really good though, because originally when I tried out Bumblebee back in the day, he just seemed like he wasn't really too good. I was too fixated on liking Optimus, but yeah, he's got some stuff going on, and of course, all the fights are just about the same, so there's really nothing new here. I'm going to probably try to be giving some of the same advice I did before, but this time differently, because you never know, somebody different can come along and see this in a different way. So, there's a lot of things that are happening right now on screen. There's a lot of things going on, and of course, if you're playing on Prime difficulty, most likely you've probably played the game. So, either you, A, have everything that I have unlocked, which I have all the moves unlocked, so that takes care of that. I'm going to try not to use items too often, but I do end up using them in like the later chapters just because of how hellish, some of the stuff ends up being later. So, first fight, normally you fight only just, I think, not the ground soldiers. What are they called? I forget the name of them, but you fight the normal first enemies, but now you have to fight the big ground soldiers when Prime difficulty. They added them for Prime. Normally, it would just end up you fighting the Seekers right after the first couple of enemies, but Prime difficulty has those big guys, and they're relatively easy to dodge. I mean, even when you have a whole bunch of them on screen, they're pretty easy. So, yeah, there's too much going on at once, too much to explain. So, the best advice, of course, with Transformers in general, is to mash dodge, because 9 times out of 10, you'll probably end up getting your dodge to work, and you'll get that reversal, or I'll probably just call it witch time, either way. I don't know what I don't remember exactly what it was called. I think it was called reversals, but I don't think so. Still, regardless, let's just start with the basics first. Bumblebee himself. I'm going to be, you saw the weapons I'm using. I'm going to be using mostly just the shock gauntlets. And because they actually work pretty well, because they actually stun the enemies. I'm also using the loudspeakers still. I'll probably be using that for every playthrough in general, because they help with stunning enemies. But I don't use it very often this playthrough, actually. I didn't rely on the loudspeakers too much. I did most of it just by pure force of will, I guess. So, with Bumblebee, he has a lot of really cool and very diverse and unique attributes that are going for him. Sorry, you're going to hear me click on my mouse a few times there, because I don't know why I never remember to have my thing maximized here. But so, with Bumblebee, his ability is essentially him able to leapfrog or dodge under enemies. And you'll see later when we actually start using that on most of the bigger enemies, that how useful that ability actually can be. His other, and I like to call it the gimmick of him, is he has the ability to do 2 vehicle strikes. I don't remember the exact what they call them, but essentially whenever you finish off a combo and you're able to turn into vehicle mode, and you're able to, like this with the blue spark, you're able to do that, you can do 2 of them, and that is incredible. It is crazy how good of a move that is. By the way, also every character now, every character I have is all full level 99, so if anybody's wondering like what level I am, that's pretty much it, yeah. These are just regular ground soldiers that come up quite often. These are, in my opinion, I think they're like more elite than the blue ones, but they're just way more annoying than the blue ones. The blue ones are usually pretty fine, except for the shield ones, but these guys are relatively easy to handle because they have rather limited moveset. But when they get hoarded up and, you know, when there's a whole mob of them coming after you, they're relatively difficult to deal with. You saw right there that I actually had my vehicle strike launch upward, and that's something I'll end up doing a lot, is essentially just kind of gimmicking around the game's ability of just letting you do that type of stuff. It's great. I love it. So I just want to say I love this game. I'm so glad. Again, I finished it all in like a couple of days, and it's just so fun just to watch again. I don't know if I'll probably actually end up finishing the other campaigns that quickly, because I'd like to do some other guides in between then and disperse them, so that way you guys don't get too bored of just the same one. Also, I actually ended up dying to Devastator 2 or 3 times, so it was ridiculous. There is a fun little trick you can do with Devastator here. If you want to get some decent damage on him, attacking his head is his main weak point. However, there are times where he'll actually go for a kick. He'll wind up his left leg or his right one. I think he can switch between them. So he'll wind up his left leg or right leg, and he'll try to kick you. Then you attack the other leg. He'll actually trip, and then from there you can jump up on like a leg or so, and then you can attack his head with your fist, because the head is where his weak point is, and you'll actually do a lot more damage, and you'll see that he starts glowing red when you hit him. You can also go for, and I don't remember if I do it in this fight exactly, but I died like a couple of times, so I don't remember exactly which fight was what. But when you actually shoot him in the head, that also works too, and you do a lot of damage. And the cool part is, whenever you actually hit him, you know, while he's down, and you hit him in the head, he'll actually eventually get knocked back. But usually only when he's like stunned on the ground, he'll actually get knocked back into a building. There's a trophy or achievement for getting it 3 times. You don't have to do it in the same fight, I found out. So don't worry, you don't have to do it in one fight, which is very, very nice. So Devastator is relatively straightforward, at least in the beginning parts of the game. He doesn't have any like crazy moves besides his drill attack that he just uses like pretty much at half health. He just starts, you know, slamming the ground. But that right there pretty much just makes him a lot easier, because if you're like me and you're just essentially just mashing the dodge button, eventually it'll just happen. And I will admit, I am going to be mashing the dodge button, because, I mean, why not? The game give it to me, I'm going to use it. It's not Bayonetta, you know, it doesn't have that same strictness to it. It's a little bit more lenient, and I like that about it. And getting SS ranks are relatively annoying, because even if you do finish a fight in good amount of time, or even with no damage, you still barely get rewarded enough. They're not enough of a reward to actually give you that double S rank, which sucks. So I'm not going to exactly explain the whole thing here, but essentially with double S ranks, getting bonus points is what helps you. So going for headshots, and just essentially going for any other extra attacks like rush, and all the other fun stuff, which rush is when you're in vehicle mode and you're driving at max speed, and then you press square or triangle to go into that blue, like, uppercut attack. That, I think, was called the rush mode, I believe. I don't think your actual vehicle attacks, like, at the end of a combo count for bonuses. As far as I'm aware, I don't think they do, which sucks, because, like, you do them so often in this game that you think it would, but you really kind of don't. So, next up is Megatron. You only have to get him down to, I think, like, half health. He's not that bad, because all I have to do is just rush into him, hit him a few times, and this is right here where Bumblebee's ability just becomes so useful. So, most, if not all, bosses have the ability to parry, quote-unquote, and you'll see it happen quite often. I think he does it right around here, maybe. Well, he does it eventually. You'll see when it comes up. Basically, where they stop your combo and they knock you out of your combo, and they pretty much just get you off of you, or get you off of them. I don't really parry that often in this game because, right there, I don't really parry that often in this game because I suck at it, but essentially it's just hitting the stick toward the direction of the opponent when they're hitting you. That's how you are supposed to parry, and it's like Bayonetta, but it's just really kind of tough to get. Also, you could, when enemies are shielded, you could just do the L2, basically the Bumblebee's ability to slide underneath them and go for a back attack. Back attacks don't really do much. They don't do anything specific. They don't really stun anybody. They don't do anything too crazy. But you'll see that I do them quite often later on, where I just say screw it, why not? But the reason why I like his ability so much is because there are times, and you'll see it happen in later boss fights in this game, where the boss or enemy or whatever will parry me, and then you go for that ability, that L2 ability, you go right for it, and you'll go, you'll leapfrog or you'll slide underneath their legs, whether you're in air or not, it doesn't matter, who cares, this game's just awesome as hell anyway, right? So, you do that, and it pretty much just resets them to the point where you could just continuously beat the crap out of them. So, the reason why I used the overdrive ability, or whatever it's called, I think it's overdrive, where you click both sticks in, is because they give you a freebie right there. So, if you already have your L3 and R3, or, whatever control scheme you have, if you have that ready, ultimate, that's what it's called, yeah. If you have your ultimate ready before then, just go ahead and use it if you want, because why not? I mean, free kills. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. If you don't have it, you could just, get a freebie right then and there, which is great. The tutorial definitely helped me a lot with that part. So Insecticons are some of the more relatively devious enemies to take care of. They're fun to fight. I like the Insecticons. I just think that they're relatively annoying, especially the bombshells later on when they explode. But you'll see them later, and the best way to take out them is just with gunshots. So the other gun I'm using is, of course, just regular blasters. I'd recommend going for like a machine gun or blasters. That also helps with double S ranks, because the trick with getting double S is going for headshots, and you might as well just use the reversal or witch time or whatever it's called to essentially, time your shots and go for headshots. Luckily, that stuff is mostly done on Commander, which is nice. So, also using low-level machine guns for that type of ranking stuff works too. But I'm not here for rankings. I'm here just to do a Bumblebee playthrough and a potential guide at the same time. Again, like I've said in Lollipop before, when it comes to these videos, I take them more so as playthroughs, alongside just being guides, but just, you could think about them as both. Like, if it helps you, then it's a guide. If it's something you enjoy watching, then it's a playthrough. So, why not have both? Seekers with shields are some of the more relatively irritating bastards to deal with. They're not too hard, it's just sometimes the way the game works is it just never really lets you do the rush to break the shield into them. Granted, another thing you could do too is whenever you're doing a combo and you go for the vehicle strike, like right here, which Bumblebee works so well with, you can essentially just strike one, maybe kill, or destroy the enemy, the Decepticon, and then after that, you do the second vehicle strike on another unsuspecting prey, and that will break the shield as well. Any type of vehicle attacks should, in theory, break the shields, which is nice, as you see right there. So I always try going for that. Also, I'm not going to go for every single fight. I'm going to be avoiding all the fights that don't really count toward beating the game. So I'm trying, sometimes I'll fight like just random whatever enemies just because I just want to hit something. But most of the time I won't. Also, the other weapon I have in terms of melee weapons is my Energon sword. I would recommend having an Energon weapon at any time. That way, just in case, especially in later chapters, like chapter 4 or 5, I think it was. Especially in the later chapters where you're dealing with Wheeljack. Talking too fast. When you're dealing with Wheeljack and you have to protect Wheeljack, it's best to have Energon weapons, so that way when you're dealing with giant groups of enemies at once, you could at least attack multiple of them at once, instead of having to just have one specific weapon that attacks just only like one guy at a time, maybe even two. But having those Energon weapons, I think they actually go through most enemies. Also, I guess his name was Menacer, for the guy I used to call Menacer. I don't remember exactly how to pronounce it. I'm not a Transformers guy, unfortunately, but after playing this game again, it definitely makes me makes me a little interested. So, yeah, you'll see a few times in this playthrough or in this guide playthrough, whatever, that I essentially like to use Bumblebee's ability in just any circumstance, especially after vehicle strikes. I like to go for 2 or 3 hits after a vehicle strike, and then immediately right after just wail on him with ability. And I love messing with the bosses in this game. It's so fun just to kind of dick with them, especially for like when you're chasing them down in the vehicle sections. Just so you can kind of just what's the word I'm looking for? Dunk on him, essentially, I guess. That's probably not the best way of putting it, but yeah. So this part's relatively easy. You just gotta knock him down to where he starts taking too much damage, and then Megatron will just, go through the next area, and you could just do that and just surpass him. You don't have to beat him all the way. which is nice. So this is the next arena with Megatron again, and you have electric fences that are actually at your disposal. And the thing with those, though, is both of you can get knocked into them. So what I recommend doing is going pretty much just for these vehicle strikes, knocking him into the electric fences, and then maybe even whipping out the loudspeaker, so that way you can, you know, stun him whenever you have the options. So that way you can just get some nice, free, easy peasy hits. It's so cool. Ah, man, it's just, I'm sorry, but like when I get excited about something, it's you know, it's a whole nother level. Also, I'm not exactly 100% sure on how to do particular strikes, like vehicle strikes. I'm not exactly 100% sure on how to activate certain ones, but you'll see every once in a while where Bumblebee will do an uppercut, and those are the ones that you usually kind of want to go for, because keeping the enemies in the air makes it way better for just control in general, so that way you can just easily just beat the living crap out of them. They become, you know, pretty good cannon fodder when you're just, you know, messing with them in the air. So down here, this is another fight you can essentially just skip. Nothing too hard. Again, if you want to fight the enemies, go ahead, because, you know, you can get items out of it and stuff. And also, don't feel bad about using items in this game. If you're just trying to beat Prime difficulty for just whatever cause, you know, if you're not trying to go for double S or whatever, or anything like that specifically, just use items if you want. So here we go. We have our first two Constructicons. We have Hook and I forget the other one. He's not the drill one. No, he's the, oh, crap, I forget what he was called. I know the other one I was fighting, the one with the sword, is called Hook. I know that one. Because I just got done with Chapter 7, and I fought, you know, when you had to fight all 6 at once. And there's, like, Mixer, I think his name was. God, I wish I knew these names. That's the other thing, too, that's cool with this game, is, like, they actually show you the names of the enemies, which is really, really awesome. And that's kind of why I would like to have a Bionicle game made by Platinum. That'd be nice. Or even, like, a Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go game made by Platinum. That'd be also cool to see. Please, Platinum Games, I would love to see that if you could. That would be awesome. It would be nice to have a sequel to this game, but I know we're not probably going to get that because of Hasbro, but yeah. So anyway, tips and tricks with Constructicons is just handle them like any other particular boss fight, because even though they're not actually a boss, they are essentially the same as a regular boss fight. They're just as annoying as any other boss, if not probably the most annoying of the bosses, in my opinion. That's what's crazy. Like, they're just mini bosses, but they are essentially just a full-fledged boss at the same time, because they're so quick and they're so aggressive. And the best way to deal with them is just essentially just mash R2. Like, every time that you're going out of your, I'll have to get the name of it eventually, but whenever you're going out of your transformer time, we can call it that, I guess. Whenever you're going out of that mode, whenever you're out of slowdown, just once that's over, just start mashing dodge, because especially in Chapter 7, when you're fighting those Constructicons, like all 6 at a time, it becomes ruthless, and you pretty much just have to just mash the hell out of that button. So yeah, again, I skip these fights, and the best part about this section right here is whenever they're shooting down at you, you could just constantly just dodge, and then, you know, get your transformer time off of them, which is pretty helpful. So again, I just avoid any and pretty much all fights. Oh, another thing I wanted to mention, that whenever you're doing vehicle strikes, and sometimes when you're doing your ability too, especially, you probably noticed if you guys actually watched the Optimus one, if you happen to, or just, you know, played it yourself and you noticed yourself, but if you haven't, whenever you're doing your ability, your L2 ability, which also Bumblebee gets 2, which is nice, and recharges quite quick, just saying. So whenever you're doing that, typically you can get to the transformer time off of it. Like this is what I call transformer time. Let's just call it that, just make it easier on me. So now we have the mix guy, and we also have, I forget which one this was. I don't think, it's not the drill one, I don't think, right? Well, anyway, so the mix dump guy, or whatever his name was, the cement truck guy, he lays down these green blob stuff that just basically stuns you. And when I was trying to do this fight, which I died a couple of times, by the way, when I was trying to do this fight, I was gonna, in my original commentary for this, I was gonna say, oh, well, just go attack him first. Usually when it comes to Constructicons, you want to attack the ones that give you the most trouble. The ones that usually give you some type of status ailment. But with this fight right here, I actually recommend the opposite. Because the other enemy, the other Constructicon back there won't necessarily attack you. He'll just end up just trying to, go into transform mode. And then from there, he'll just start laying down, the green blobs and stuff. Of course, you don't want to get hit by it, but as long as you don't worry about him, he won't be too aggressive and attack you. And that's just one of those really cool things that this game does, is they have those moments where there's always a difference with enemies. Like, not every enemy does the same crap. And I just love that, There's so much just to love in this game. It's crazy. So, once again, loudspeaker, get that stun off of him. Do a few hits, do a few vehicle hits, and then after doing a few vehicle hits, whenever you launch him in the air, you want to do a couple of hits, just like normal, like square or triangle attacks. And then from there, you want to use his ability to sort of reset the enemy. And you can only usually get like maybe a couple of hits before they parry you. But sometimes you can get lucky and just, get that thing going. Sorry, I don't know what's wrong. This is the same thing I was trying to explain to my lollipop is, well, at the time I was tired as hell, but I'm still actually relatively tired, and I'm going to be probably stop talking every once in a while because I'm yawning too much. It's funny because like I woke up at a decent time. I didn't go to bed at a decent time, but I woke up at a decent time, and I'm just always constantly tired. Even if I'm excited about something, I'm just gonna yawn. That's just how it is. That's just how my brain works. So what's cool about this entire chapter in general is the fact that you get to fight all 6 of the Constructicons, but 2 at a time, which is nice. But you get to fight all 6, so you get to see every different type of attack they do. So when it comes to Constructicons, I'm just going to say this just as a generalization, not... Oh yeah, also, real quick, before I say that, there was a circle prompt, I think that said saddle, and I have never been able to hit it yet, so I'm not exactly sure what it does, but I have a guess. I think it's probably just when you slam on them and you start doing the hold R2 attack to ramp up some more damage. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So as a generalization, I recommend for the ones that use status ailments, or the ones like the drill guy right here, where they just kind of just mind their own. Just always try to go for or focus on the ones that are more aggressive. The ones that are coming for you rather than laying down traps or trying to zone you. Because the ones that are aggressive are just going to... Well, they're going to be in your face. They're going to be way more aggressive and just more annoying to deal with. So why not just take them out first and then, slowly work your way up to the other guys. And plus, I think every Constructicon, as far as I'm aware, has different types of health. I think like 3 of them have probably like the same amount of health where they're a little bit more tanky. Like the drill guy or even like maybe even like Hook himself. I don't remember. But basically... I think there's a difference between all 6, and I'm trying to figure out. I think like 3 of them have lower health than the others. That's what I'm trying to say. Is that there are some that are clearly a little more tanky. It feels like it. It feels like it. So this attack right here, don't do it too often. Only do it when you feel safe to do it, because you could still get hit while doing it, and it sucks. And unfortunately, you can't dodge while you're doing it. However, when you launch off, I think it does still activate a dodge. Also, just a quick little slight tip. When you're in vehicle mode, you can actually hit the L2 button, or whatever your appropriate prompt is, to actually deactivate your transform state instead of having to hold R2 to transform out. It's a little nifty, small little trick. I do it every once in a while. I forget to do it because I'm kind of dumb, but yeah. Alright, so next up, I think we're heading toward Devastator, because now that we've beaten all 6 of the Constructicons, they're actually going to form together. I don't know why, but every time I keep thinking that Devastator and Menacer have... I don't know why I keep thinking that they have 5 combined parts, because I think of like body parts, like head, arms and legs. I think of the, you know, the limbs rather than the actual torso. So that would, in theory, add up to 6. You'd think I would know that by now, but yeah. Also, you're going to see that I'm going to leave some cutscenes in, just, like, who cares, right? I mean, it's fine. So if you don't see a cutscene, then that probably means I probably died. But if you do see one, I probably did it in one run, which is nice. So Devastator is just the same thing as he was before, but this time around, he's actually going to activate a different... He should activate a different moveset after the second attack. Or, what am I talking about? After the... He's going to have a second phase after his half health type thing. I think this is where he starts actually doing that. So I mentioned earlier that he did it, but I don't think that was exactly entirely the case. But he certainly he certainly should do it now. So also, using your ability does actually still do damage, even though you don't technically get any good amounts of damage off of him. But yeah, so I don't remember. Yeah, I think I did do this after I figured out the whole hitting him in the leg thing, because I was trying to get that trophy for it, and I did. The only trophies I don't have yet are like getting all the files and getting like double S on like all of the you know, commander or higher missions, basically all the chapters. Like, I'm pretty sure he went into phase 2. I think so. Well, either way, well, I mean, yeah, he still gets drills, so it's about the same. Okay. I don't know, I just thought it would be a little different. I kind of forgot. Guys, it's been a while. By a while, I mean like a day or so. But hey, you know, when you play this game a lot of things change over the course of a few chapters. So that definitely happens. But yeah, I need to start remembering the heck these names are for these chapters. I need to be a little bit more professional about this. But like I said in Lollipop, I'm just gonna be, you know, just me. If I happen to be professional about it, then just let it be. You know, if I mess it up, then it's not worth restarting complete commentary over. But there you go. For the most part, that's Devastator. Just, you know, keep dodging, attack his legs. That's the best advice for that. He's a relatively simple, big, giant boss. But anyway, that should be it. And I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next chapter. So take care, everybody.